Hey guys, it's Tara. This is a nice side opener practice that is Bowspring based, and we'll go ahead and get started. So come to your mat and make your way to all fours. In your all fours, instead of taking your hands narrow right under the shoulders, bring the hands the width of the mat so the pinkies touch the edge of the mat. Press the fingertips down and then rotate the elbows outward to press the ribs up. Let the head drop momentarily. Take a moment to look to the feet. Draw the top of the foot forward, lifting the ankle off of the mat, but not so much that you squish the toes. The heels squeeze in and the knees press wide to lift the butt up. From here, press the fingertips down and pull your way forward, lengthening the head forward away from the hips. Armpits are lifted. Find a pulse forward and back. As you move, try not to tuck the tailbone or shorten the belly. Keeping the same shape in the low back. Finding your pulse here. And then begin to arc the ribs right and left, but try not to collapse through the middle. So keeping this push of the floor away, allowing some space into the side body. Next time you sit back so much that you can lift the left heel of your hand off of your mat, coming to your fingertips, doming the hand. Squeeze the heel of the hand. Find a pulse here. Right ear moves over the right shoulder as the ribs press to the left. See if you can widen the elbows, expand the shoulders. Exhale, sit back, slide the left hand about 6 inches forward, and now make this a little bit bigger. Keep pushing the floor away on the right side so strongly. And next time you sit back, slide the left hand over towards the right front corner of your mat. And then let the hand trace back to where it was. Finding this kind of arcing motion. Find your way back through center with the hand 6 inches forward. Bend the elbow and look to the palm. Squeeze the palm in towards each other. And then bring that to the back of the head. The head presses back and the ribs rise up. Keep pressing the knees wide, making sure that the low back isn't taking over. And next time you sit back, arc up and over to the right, opening the left side body. Keep the head pressing up into the hand. Don't let the head drop. Last pulse here. Making sure you're pulsing, bring the left hand down. Making sure you're pulsing through your practice. Find some organic movement here. Circle the ribs. Notice the difference on the two sides. So if I forget to say to pulse through something, just know that there is not a lot of stillness within this practice. It's always moving, always kind of pulsing and exploring through the breath. Finding an active center here, look down to the feet once more. Top of the foot pulls forward, knees press wide, and the hips rise up. Fingertips press down and the hands pull towards the knees. Elbows rotate wide and the armpits lift up. The lats underneath the armpits are really active here. Head pulls forward. Exhale, sit back, dome the right hand, and arc the head to the left. Widening the shoulders, trying not to compress the neck as the hips slide back behind you. Slide the right hand 6 inches forward and allow the ribs to move, not just to the right, but to the left as well. We don't want the left ribs to collapse to open the right side. Next time you sit back, sweep the right hand towards the left front corner of your mat. And then bring it back to about 6 inches forward. Pulsing here, allow the ribs to push up by pushing from that left hand up into the upper back, mid back. Bring your way back to our 6-inch head starting point. Bend the elbow, make sure the palm is active. So you want this like dome hand kind of idea, even as you bring the hand to the head presses back, the elbow draws forward. And then arc up and over to the left once more. And if you're doing this correctly, it is not easy. It is a challenge. Exhale, right hand comes back down, big rib circles. Switching directions. Bring the knees about hip width apart if they've slidden apart. And we'll slide the hands back to the knees, coming up to a seat on the knees. Let's sweep both hands to either side of the head. The elbows are forward and they're narrow, but they're pushing wide. The shoulders are pressing wide, and then we're gonna lift the chin and press the head back, opening the throat. What we don't want is the ribs to splay forward and move more into this hollow back bend. The head can press back, but the ribs press back just as much, keeping a curvy S-shaped spine, keeping the femur bones back, rise all the way up. And then pull the head away from the shoulders, lengthen the neck. Set the hips back, press the knees wide, and make sure the hip flexors aren't coming too far forward. Next time you sit back, release the right hand to the right thigh. Press into that to lift the left ribs up and arc over to the right. Shifting your gaze more to the right, keeping the left hip tacked back. And then eventually your gaze will look more and more to the right with each and every pulse, and maybe even look down. Think of the pulse as an evolution of movement. Where you start is not where you end up. You can start really minimal, maybe at 5, 10, 20% of your movement, and then work your way into it. There's no rush. Exhale, sit back. The right hand is going to slide outside of the right knee, and then it's going to slide further. Left foot is going to come forward. Set the hips back and even slide the right hand further away, or slide the knees back as I'm at the front of my mat. But you want a lot of space between the knee and the hand, more than 2 feet. Exhale, sit back, and then inhale, pull your way forward. Push the floor away and allow the ribs to rise up. Push the left foot forward to reach the hips back behind you. Activating the lower body and the upper body. Option to hang out here or even find wishbone if that is in your practice, grabbing your right forearm. Pull the elbows wide and expand the ribs more. Keeping the hips back, the belly open, the throat open. Option to stay, option to bring the left outer foot up and find a little bicycle here. The bicycle is smaller than you'd expect. The knee is forward, the hips are back, ankle is flexed, toes are soft. And allow this to spiral the whole body open. Gently release the left hand wherever it is and bring it to the knee. Press it into each other. Hand and knee press into each other to get the belly longer. Hips sit back. Option to stay here, or option to bring the right foot closer to the right hand. Allow the belly to open and allow the head to drop. Maybe hang out here, grab the back of the hamstring. Could be the leg lifts up. Exhale, left foot is going to land in front of the knee. Heel lands in front of the knee, and rotate the right foot back to where we came from, so the right knee is pretty happy. Bring both hands down and readjust the shoulders. Pick up the right knee so the flesh isn't twisted under the knee. If this is too much, you can just have the knee close, but this is nice too. Take your left hand to your low back and search for that crevice of the spine moving in and forward. We want to keep that, so we don't want to round as we sit back. We want to keep the belly forward. And then the hand can come to the knee. Press the hand into the knee, lengthen. Push the knee forward and then reach the hand to the back of the knee and then press the knee back. Keep that idea. Now slide the hand to the glute and lift the glute upward. Exhale, sit back and keep the glute pulling upward as you sit back. Exhale, left hand comes back to your mat. Release the left knee and foot next to the right and sway the hips right and left. Notice again the difference on the two sides. Find an active all fours here. Top of the foot pulls forward, heels squeeze in, knees press wide to lift the glutes up. Press the mat away so strongly, fingertips press down, squeeze the heel of the hand, elbows rotate, lift the armpits up. Pull the hands and knees towards each other to activate the belly, lengthen the head forward. Tuck the right toes, don't move the right foot, just tuck the toes under and then lift the knee. Left foot swivels back behind you off of your mat and dome the right hand by setting the hips back even further. Push the floor away and allow the top of the head to arc down. Finding your pulse in humble cat. Press into your feet and reach your hips back further. Notice how stiff that is. Bring the right knee down and tuck the left toe. Left foot pushes forward, reach the hips back, dome the left hand right ear towards the right shoulder. Exhale, walk the hands back towards the knees. And push the floor away once more. Lift the left ribs. Bring the left hand to the left side of the head. Press the head back. Set the hips back towards the heels and rise up with more ease. Right hand now comes to the outer left knee. I just adjusted my left foot a little bit, so feel free to adjust if you're not quite lined up. Hips sit back, and then with the right hand, pull to the right, allowing the left ribs to rise up. The knee presses to the left to counter the right hand pulling to the right. Opening the throat, make sure there's no compression in the back of the neck. Exhale, sit back, release the arms forward. Push the arms forward and try to catch air almost under the armpits as if it was a sail. Pushing the arms forward, reach the ribs back at the same time, reach the hips back. Drag this left foot, pushing the foot forward, drag the foot back, and then see if you can come to your toes. Maybe find a little balance here today. And this changes often, so it may be steady, it may not be. When you're ready to come out of it, top of the left foot will land first, and the knee lands light. Exhale, sit back, arc up and over to the left, arc up and over to the right. As you arc, think about the ribs expanding fully. Keep the same idea. Now sweep the hands to the back of the head and lift the head up. Notice the difference on the two sides. Next time you arc up and over to the left, pause, bring the left hand to your left thigh. Keep the right hip back. It's going to want to come forward, but keep it back and then allow this pulse to be slow. It's not going to start where it ends. It starts 10, 15, 20% of your actual movement, and then it opens upon returning to it over and over. Head presses back, the ribs expand, gently turning your gaze to the left and then downward towards your mat. Next time you sit back, release the left hand outside the left knee and then slide it further away from you. Bring the right foot forward so that it's just behind the right knee, but slightly, it's behind it this way, but slightly in front of it this way, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully I say yeah, but I hope you get it. Exhale, sit back, push the floor away and allow the ribs to rise. The head drops down. Finding your pulse here, the more you can push into this right foot to reach the hips back, the more length you get out of the belly, the more you can push into the left hand, pushing away from the floor, the more rise you get in the ribs as the head arcs down. Now, if the head stays lifted, you'll see my ribs stay pretty neutral. So the head has to help open the side body by arcing downward. There's not less space around the neck though. The neck is really long. You move all this hair. It's really long around the neck, so you can see space on all sides. Option to hang out here or bring the right hand to the right forearm. Make sure both elbows pull wide, especially the left one as you peel the ribs open. And if this is not in your practice, go back to having the hand on the head. My wishbone, you can see, is tighter on this side than the other side. It's not as comfortable. And when I started this, my wishbone was here. My head was nowhere in between my hands. This was kind of my limit. And slowly through the years, it's opened little by little. So be patient. There's no hurry for this. Option to hang out or bring the right outer foot up. The foot will come up a little higher than the knee. And bicycle is small. It's a small bicycle. The hips sit back. The foot presses away from you as the head stretches forward. It's a pulse through the whole body. Right hand, right knee connect. Press them into each other and find more length in the belly. Option to hang out here or bring the left foot towards the left hand and let the belly open. Let the head drop. Opening the throat, but not compressing the back of the neck. Maybe bring the right hand to the back of the hamstring and lengthen the leg. Doesn't have to go straight. Mine doesn't. I have tight hamstrings, so it's where it's at, and that's more than okay. Bend the knee, slide the hips back towards the heels, and the right foot will land in front of the knee, but make sure you rotate the left foot back to where it came from. Even pick up the left knee, set it back down. Bring the right hand down and let the left hand move to the left side of the mat. And you might have to readjust to kind of equal out. You can pick up the knee, set it back down so that it's comfortable. And if this for some reason is stressful on this side, just bring the foot close to the knee. So it doesn't have to be like a figure four, but it can be. All right, we're gonna take the right hand to the crevice of the low back, and therefore you can, I'll show you on, let me turn around on this side so you can see what I'm talking about. The crevice in the low back right here. So the vertebrae move in, and we want that. So if your belly is tucked, or your spine is flat, you won't have a crevice. It'll just be gone. So we're looking for that crevice as we pulse forward and back. We want to keep that. That makes sense, yeah? All right, bring the hand to the knee, press them into each other and lengthen the spine. And then slide the hand to the back of the knee and then pull. Keeping that low back crevice moving forward. And then slide the hand up to the glute and lift up. As the hips sit back, you can lift up, allowing the spine to stay neutral instead of rounding as you sit back, yeah? Gently release, right hand comes down, release the ankle and slide the knee to your mat. Slide the hips, the ribs, the head. All right, swivel. All right, we'll go through this transition because I do it in most of my practices and I think it can be confusing. So coming to an all fours here. And notice the position of the knees and the feet. So the knees, if I am just kind of neutral, the knees are slightly behind the hips. The hands are slightly in front of the shoulders. So it's a little bit longer of an all fours than you might be used to in a traditional practice. To go into your humble cat, we're going to tuck the left toe, lift the left knee, and keep the foot grounded. It's not going to move forward on your mat. The right foot lands back off of your mat behind you. The hips press back so much that you can dome the left hand right ear towards the right shoulder and begin to open the side. This time, let's bring the left hand to the right ribs. Push the ribs back into the fingers, expand the ribs back first, and then pull the entire rib cage up. Let the head arc down. Finding a pulse here. Breathing fully. Left hand comes down, left knee comes down. Trying the other side now, tuck the right toes under, lift the right knee, keeping the foot where it is. Left foot comes back off of your mat behind you. Dome the right hand by sitting the hips back so much. It's like you have no other choice. Allow the ribs to rise. Push with the left hand, pull with the right hand, and keep an eye on that low back crevice. We want it to be here as well. Pretty much in every pose, we want that low back crevice instead of a flattening of the low back. Bring the right side down. This time, we're going to find an active all fours and a long spine. So the spine will be really, really long, pulling the hands and the knees towards each other. Could you make more space between each and every vertebrae? And then as we lift up, tucking the toes and lift up to the feet, don't lose any space in the neck. Widen the elbows, widen the shoulders, knees forward, hips back, lengthen the belly. Press the feet back behind you to lift the hips up. Breathe here. The ribs are so expanded. Exhale, sit the hips back, twist the knees to the left, and dome the left hand. Hips move back to the right. Push the floor away from you and allow the ribs to fully expand. If this is ever too much, you can bring the right knee down and you land right back to where we were in this humble cat. Option to bring the left outer foot up, little bicycle here. The bicycle is a little smaller than you might expect. It's not this huge, massive movement. So I'm kind of demonstrating this crazy movement as opposed to a little bit smaller, more controlled. Activating the back of the glute. The heel squeezes towards the hip. Push the floor away and allow the ribs to rise up. And then sweep the left hand to the back of the head. Head presses back. Option to hang out here if you want to take it to the next level. Left hand, left knee, press them into each other, lengthen the belly. You might hang out here. You might swivel the right heel. The right heel towards the right hand. Hips sit back and the belly rises up. Maybe slide the hand to the hamstring and rise upward. Hips root back. Left fingertips touch down. And let's come to a figure four here. Pulsing here. See if you can mindfully notice that crevice in the low back. Trying to keep it long as you pulse. Left foot touches down, pedal out the feet. Sway out the hips. Find an active push of the mat away. Twist the knees to the right, hips to the left so much you can dome the right hand. Left ear towards the left shoulder. Push from the feet to reach the hips back more. Allow the ribs to rise. Push with the left hand, pull with the right. Always option to bring the left knee down or outer right leg lifts up. Outer left right pinky edge of the foot lifts up. Knees forward, hips are back. Bicycle here. Keep the belly so long. And make the bicycle smaller, more posterior. The heel squeezes towards the glute. The neck is long. Option to stay here. Bring the right hand to the right side of the head. Head presses back. Ribs rise up. Hand and knee connect. Press them into each other. Lengthen the belly once more. Option to hang out or rotate the left heel towards the left wrist. Let the belly open. Maybe hand comes to the hamstring. Press the hamstring into the hand to rise up even more. Right fingertips touch. Right ankle crosses over the left foot. And you may have noticed I just hopped the left foot forward. My foot slid a little bit during that one. My mat was not sticky enough. So find a active all fours here, or sorry, active press of the mat away, as if you were still in all fours. And gently release, pedaling out the feet. Bring the knees down so slow without collapsing the ribs if possible. Untuck the toes and bring the elbows down. Bring the hands to the center of the mat and let the forehead rest down. Soften the breath. And we'll just do like a quick little cool down. Bring your hands back to your knees. Tuck the toes. Twist them. Twist the toes and the knees to the left as the hips sit back. Right ear towards the right shoulder. Left hand comes in and extend the right hand towards the left corner of your mat, almost as if you're diving into a pool. Left foot and knee come in front of the right. Let the head drop back behind you and the arms can rise up, left followed by the right. Press into the left inner foot, into the outer right foot, pushing into that. Reach the hips back behind you even more. Push the arms up towards the sky and lengthen the belly. Yeah. So this is a good one to try to find the most length you can. So if I don't find this length here, my spine feels very compressed and it's quite a different stretch. It's like, I wish you could see it better. So if I do nothing, it's very compressed and squished between my ribs and my hips. It just feels like here. And then if I press into my feet, reach the hips back and lengthen, all of a sudden, I almost feel like I have 2 extra inches between my ribs and my hips. It's a lot. It's a big difference. Right hand now can come to the outer left knee. Left fingertips all the way to the floor up overhead. Pull the elbows apart and then hands energetically pull towards the belly or towards the heart. Can you widen the shoulders here, widening the elbows and lengthen. Push the hips back. Make sure the neck isn't compressed. Inhale, both arms up. Ankle connects to the knee as you roll to your back. Maneuver with your foot, with your hips, with your head. Picking up the right, pushing into the right foot, pick up the hips and set them back down. Ankle and knee press strongly into each other to lift the right foot off of your mat. Widen the back of the ribs here. Pressing the knee and foot into each other, little twist to the left with the legs, right with the arms, and then reach long. Exhaling it in. Inhale to the other side. Reach long, continuing that inhale. Exhaling it in. Release the feet. Extend your left arm and roll to your left side. Slide the hips back behind you. Right knee and foot land in front of the left. And then let the head drop back. Bring the right arm followed by the left up off of your mat, and then notice the space if you're just soft and collapsed between the ribs and the hips. To make that space greater, press into the right inner foot, left outer foot, push into the floor, push the feet down and forward. Reach the hips back, pulling the belly forward and up out of the hips. Push the arms up towards the sky. And left hand comes to the outer right knee, right fingertips all the way to the floor up overhead. Pull the elbows apart, lengthen the spine, including the neck. The right ankle can now connect to the left knee. Press them into each other strongly to keep that curve in the low back as we roll, probably way off of your mat. Maneuver your way back to the center of your mat. Picking up the hips, set them back down. Lift up the left foot. Little twist with the legs to the right, arms to the left, and inhale, make this bigger, more expansive, keeping the ankle pushing into the knee, both knees press forward. Exhale it in. Inhale, opposite side, find length. Reach long. Exhale it in. Release the foot, bring the hands to the knees, little rock right and left. Feet come down, fingertips up overhead. Pick up the hips, set them back down again. And allow the knees to move to the right, windshield wiping to the right. Press into the feet and see if you can reach the left hip back behind you to your mat. The left hip, it will come up, but see if it can reach backwards. Lengthening the belly, lift the chin away from the chest. Little miniature pulses. Inhale, knees come up. Exhale to the left. Push into the feet and reach the hips back. That pushing into the feet and reaching the hips back lets the belly get so long. Gently release. You can walk the feet out, release the hands, untuck the tailbone, lengthen the belly, and feel free to close the eyes. You can even walk the shoulders further away from the hips if you feel like more space would be awesome. Just take a couple deep breaths here. Inhaling fully, exhaling fully. And return to a natural, normal breath. Almost letting the breath wash over you like a wave. Releasing any tension. Feeling free to stay as long as you'd like. But I will guide you up if you are ready. But don't feel obligated. Option to deepen the breath once more, finding some movement within the hands, within the feet. Inhale fully and stretch the arms up overhead, reaching through the right side, through the left side. Exhale, the feet come back to the mat, bending the knees. Roll to either side. Leave the head heavy like a magnet on the arm as you make your way up. Cool. Feel free to reach out with any questions, concerns, feedback, and have a beautiful rest of your day.